Hey, welcome back to Undefining the Pod, the show where we throw out the boxes, tear up the labels, and talk real life reinvention. I'm your host, Glo Butler, comedian, storyteller, and forever in progress. Every week we sit down with someone who's rewriting the script of who they are through comedy, creativity, identity, and a lot of heart. Let's check it out. All right, today's guest is someone who knows how to work a mic from all angles. Ashlynn Salzano is a New York-based stand-up comedian, podcast host, and all-around sharp, hilarious human. Born and raised in New York City with Dominican and Dominican and Puerto Rican roots, Ashlynn came out at 20. I'm gonna start the fuck over because this is like ridiculous. I'm sorry. I was just like, oh, she's gonna love this. All right, so
and I do.
Thank you. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's start this again. Okay. Today's guest is someone who knows how to work a mic with all angles. Ashlynn Salzano is a New York-based stand-up comedian, podcast host, and all-around sharp, hilarious human. Born and raised in New York City with Dominican and Puerto Rican roots, Ashlynn came out at 26 and has been turning her stories, identity, and unexpected life turns into laugh-out-loud moments ever since. You've probably caught her on stage all over the city or on her podcast, Lounge Lizards, where she chops it up with guests on everything from pop culture to personal chaos. So let's get it. Hey, Ashlynn, how's it going? No. Oh my goodness, I try to be like that. Oh my God, she's gonna think this is so sweet. It
was awesome. You said work the mic from all angles. I said yes. Yes.
I gotta hype you guys up. I gotta make it. I gotta make stand up look good. You know?
Yeah.
What's going on with you on this random ass 12 o'clock in the afternoon? What kind of job do we have?
Stand-up comedy.
Stand-up comedy, right.
Yeah. Where we hustle at night.
Exactly.
Nothing much. It's raining, so, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do any shows, Yeah.
Do you have a show tonight?
No, thank God.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. I was like, sometimes you just want to rest and do your TikToks. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'll get into that in a bit because that's happening. So I guess I just want to dive into the beginning, like when you were in the womb. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, no. So on a serious note.
A lot of framings.
All right. You grew up in New York City, half Dominican, half Puerto Rican. How did that background shape your sense of humor or how you saw the world?
I think it's so funny because like New York has its own like sense of humor, I think. So I think I'm very observant, and a lot of times New Yorkers say things that other people wouldn't say. Right. So I think in stand up I like to push the limit there and see like what people would laugh at, what's a little too dark, what's a little too far. Yeah. So I think that part of me New York has influenced my stand up the most, I would say. Growing up Dominican and Puerto Rican is so interesting in New York because depending on where you live, you think that's very unique. And then, like, especially in New York, people who don't know New York, like back in the days, you really didn't travel in New York. If you had no business being in Brooklyn, you were not in Brooklyn. Yeah. So, like, a lot of times comics would be like, oh, like, Flatbush? I'm like, no, because I do not belong there.
We don't go there.
Yeah. I'm from Dykeman, Uptown, Inwood. Like, you just didn't do that. Like, you just didn't. So, I thought I was so unique being Puerto Rican and Dominican, and then, like, I went to high school and everyone was Puerto Rican and Dominican, and I was like, God damn it.
He's like, oh, your family made you feel special and unique, huh? It's like, nope, there's a bunch of us around here.
Yeah, because I grew up in like Dominican, like this is like Dominican land uptown, So not a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Irish and Dominican. I would say it's like a lot in Inwood.
Okay.
I thought I was special, and then I'm like, damn, I gotta find a new personality. Like,
I gotta make myself different. I get it though. I get that's kind of how it feels. I'm sure, like that's what I thought about the schools here is like sometimes I see like or Lower East Side I see like Asian like kids like schools were just and I was just like wow it's different in that like I grew up in the South. This is different like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's in a way where it's like yes it's good but then now you got to figure out why you different.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Me and me and Jared Waters have spoken before about how New York is so diverse but so segregated at the same time.
Yep.
How like you have like New York is completely diverse. You could find any kind of food, any kind of culture, any place. But how it's just like you got the Dominicans uptown, you got a lot of Puerto Ricans on the Lower East Side, you've got Black American in Brooklyn, you got Jamaicans in Queens, like it's just
Caribbean
like
town around here.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, it really is like, and that's what shocked me because I was just like, oh yeah, I'm moving out of the South, and then you come up here and I get it, it's like you learn. It's almost like it makes you like it in the beginning, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know if you can relate to this, but like I know for like doctors' offices and stuff, you can find like a whole community of people who just speak a particular language where you would never have to even try to learn English or anything like that. And I guess that's the part where I'm just like, how does that work for so long? Or have you ever had to feel like, your family are like translating, or I don't know. Does your family mostly speak Spanish, or do you guys like just, I mean, I don't want to,
like my dad is Puerto Rican but born here in New York, so speaks full English. My mom came here from DR when she was like 7, so speaks really good English, but she has older sisters that kind of didn't pick it up as much. It's kind of easier when you're younger to pick it up than when you're like some of her sisters were in their teenage years, so it was it was a little bit more difficult. So I guess it depends like when you come to, like if you're older, I'm sure it's harder to learn English. But it's interesting because you're like, you can find doctors, like my doctor growing up, like my primary care was on 181st, and he like his English was broken, but his Spanish, and it's like all the Spanish people went to him, so it's like it's so real, like that's pretty cool.
It is cool though. Like I really do. That's the part about it that makes it cool, because in the South we're just segregated because we hate each other. It's just like we don't go, oh, I'm comfortable here. No, like you hate those other people on the other side. That's the reason why you're over here. But no, it's in a way where like, and I know when it comes to an area or a city that is so diverse, there has a lot of times. I know in the South, a lot of times there were certain, like say. For the Black community, there was a period where Asian or Chinese like folks would be within the Black community, just to cut before everything felt like more accepting and they can get jobs and stuff like that, So but here you can just find, your population or whoever of people, and a lot of things is like word of mouth, because back in the day, it's not like they can be like, oh, on the internet, like, hey, y'all, like, we all residing around here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think it's kind of cool up here because it's just different. Yes, there's parts of it that, I mean, I'm sure, like it's like, maybe if we step out of our environment or our shell, there's so much more to learn. But when you grew up in an area where like they only speak a certain language or their way, and you come to another country and you want to make it as comfortable and happy as possible, I can imagine like, yeah, that's freaking awesome to be able to come here and have like a whole community where you don't have to feel like you are, like you're an alien in a country that doesn't make it, that where you're trying to grow. That's cool.
Yeah. And like to what you're saying, like it's so interesting, right? That we're segregated, but we have no, like, not that we don't have any like race issues, but like civil, like we're like human rights. Like it's so blue, it's so accepting, but we're all segregated. It's like very interesting. And I wonder if it comes from New York being such an immigrant island, right? Where a lot of people come here from different backgrounds, and they're like, we understand that your background, but we prefer the Spanish speaking doctor, or like, so I wonder if it's just like knowing like, we don't come from the same place. Cause I often feel like the segregation can come with hate when it's like, this is my country.
Right.
Like this is my place. You know? But
feeling like more privileged because either if you were born here, whatever the case, but it's like that's the part where like it gets bad is when they start to look at other people that look just like that are you basically, and they're just like, but you still aren't good enough to be, which makes no sense because we're. At the end of the day, this country is going to look at all diverse, like all people of color, any level of diversity. Like we're just there. You know what I mean? Like we know what that looks like. So us to do that to each other is just mind-boggling. But I mean,
yeah,
that we have a long way to go with that one. Yeah, but
we sure do. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And is it like that? Because I've heard of this happening when people go visit like their country or whatever. They like say. If I were to go to Africa, they would know I'm not from there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what I look like at this point. They'll look at it and be like, and then they'll have it, and then that, you know, that relationship in itself will have a gap there because they'll always be reminded of how different we are because of how we were raised, you know, or like where we grew up and stuff. So I don't know if it's like that with like people from Dominican, Puerto Rico, whatever like that. They go there and be like, oh, you're one of the Americans, like, you know, the Puerto Rican Americans or something like that, where they just kind of box us in and say, you're not, we don't do that here, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like you never fit in. It's like no one wants you. It's like when you go to Dominican Republic, you're not Dominican enough because you didn't grow up there. You know, you don't. You know, when you go to Puerto Rico, it's like, yeah, you're Puerto Rican, but you're like American Puerto Rican.
Right.
Which, you know, you kind of get the sentiment in the sense that like this, you know, a lot of those countries go through a lot of things that we don't experience, you know, so they feel like we don't have the grit.
Right.
And what's so interesting about Puerto Rico is that Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. Right. So all the Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, but it's still like, yeah, you're Puerto Rican, but you're not like Puerto Rican. Like, it's always like, yeah, but...
It's like, bro, we from the same spot. You just live on an island and I'm over here. Like, God dang, man.
Yeah. Like, don't nobody want me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, America's like, you American, but you're not American.
Right. And then you go over there like, nah. It's like, what the hell? This world, throw the whole world away.
Like, cancel the experiment. Like, whatever's that. Like,
wow. So, like, I can imagine, like, even... and like growing up in like your family and even just maybe the school, the kids you were around and stuff like that. Like, I know you said you like to test like certain things out when you're on stage, but you know, do you feel like a lot of the things like you might talk about, you know, do you feel inspired by like your roots, like your family, like what, like even like the humor that you guys had, you know? I feel like, you know, when families are together, when we're kids, like we notice that how things are, how goofy our families are, and then we get older, we don't realize like how we appreciate those moments, you know?
100%. You know, my family is very roast like.
Yeah.
Like, like
I feel like that because I feel like you're like that. So yeah, damn, I want to get my feelings hurt. Like, you know what I mean?
But it's like so much love, but they would just roast the shit out of you, and I think it was hard for me, like, kind of like making friends like later in life because to me, roasting is like love. It's a love language.
Yeah.
So like, if I can make fun of you, you can make fun of me. I'm like, oh, it's all love, and I think not everybody grows up like that, and I think that's something that I was like, damn, I didn't notice that, you know, like my dad, like me and my brothers, we roast each other. Even, you know, my mom's side, like we just roast each other. Like my mom can take my mom can take a joke. Like me and my girlfriend are always roasting my mom when she comes into our house. Like,
I love that. I'm so jealous.
It's just how we do, you know, like, and it's so interesting because people don't grow up like that. So a lot of people take offense to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh nah, I was just playing. Like I play like that, but it's hard to tell people that because they're like, I don't play like that. I'm like, my bad. Yeah.
That's my thing. People can dish it, but they can't take it, and I think that's the hard part. And like, my thing is, I think as a Capricorn, that's my initial thing to do is just like roast people, but I don't necessarily always have to have a smile on my face.
Yes.
And I think that's why, you know, Capricorns can come off like they're mean or some shit. But for me, I don't know. I just always, that's how my mom has like that dry sense of humor where she's just like, you know, we always have to tell our friends like, she's just kidding. She's like, no, I'm not. Like, you know, you just gotta know that, like, you know, you're either gonna leave crying or like just kind of confused at your life and what.
Or like, just roll with the punches.
Yeah, right. It's just like it's just constant. So I can imagine it's like, yo, don't cross over this threshold if you're sensitive. Because
did you know growing up that you had your mom's sense of humor, or were you just like, nah, we're just.
No, because
Yeah.
I think I'm like much more sillier than her personality
Okay,
is, and I
yeah.
also don't know what is her like let loose goofy, so I don't like her frenzy, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know if she has that or whatever, so I don't know what I pick up. I just know that my dad had a really strong personality where it's just kind of
Okay.
like, I also don't know what that looked like either. My parents all only made me see parents in them, and like their
They not-
faces just said parents. Their words just said it's just kind. I didn't have the space. Now I could see my family joking around and doing stuff, and my mom, but she just seemed like she had the same demeanor and everything.
Yeah.
So.
She wasn't one of your little friends, and she made that
Exactly.
clear. Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't do that. But so it was weird to see how silly, even myself and my brother, like I have a sibling, like that's how it was weird to see how silly we are, because I'm like, where did we get this from?
Right.
I think to this day I'm just like, where's that sense of humor come from? Because my mom could say she's funny, and I might be like, I might not understand. And she, but one of her friends be like, yeah, she's her name is Glow too. So she's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Glow, like she's funny." I haven't heard anybody say that, and so
I don't have the proof.
Exactly. I was like, I just don't have proof, but I'm sure like there's something that where she was like, you know what, I'm funny, because I feel like that's in everybody. But yeah, I just don't know which one I get it from, or if maybe it was like a great grandfather that like was just just cracking jokes all the time, and maybe I got his genes or something. I don't know.
Any of your aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandfathers silly?
Yeah. Everybody had their laugh out, like just cut up moments and stuff like that. Mostly my dad's side of the family. My dad's side of the family is very they're gonna go in. they're gonna tell, like they're gonna say it all.
Yeah.
And so I think, but they don't care how loud they're being. They don't care about anything like that. So that's the part where I feel like, when it comes to, like more personality or like, just kind of like that unapologetically me type of vibe. I think that's where I kind of get it from. Because it's not that my mom doesn't live unapologetically. It's just a little, I think her side of the family is just really quiet. That's all. Like they'll tell their joke, they'll do their things, but they're not going to take it that far. My dad's side of the family will make you like leave and not say anything to anybody for a little while. Even though it was, you'll laugh at it later. But they had that cut up, So it was that you had your, they just didn't care,
Yeah.
So you're right. You made me realize that where I get it. You're right. It's like. It is that, and I think because I've been so out of the world of, around them as often, I think that's why I forget sometimes. But I was like, yeah, definitely his side. They just didn't care. They really didn't.
And then your father, you said he was just so strong, so he probably didn't show that side because he's like, I'm not one of your little friends.
Right. And then my dad passed away when I was 7. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where like, all right, I knew if that was his family, he had to have some of that. Going on.
Yeah.
But
you don't survive in a family without having that.
Exactly. I was like, you got to take that. That's why I look at everybody, or like comedians. Like there are certain comedians that I wonder, like, what I feel like it's always either the quiet person that was probably, some of these comedians, like maybe they were just the quiet kid and they just had all these thoughts and stuff like that.
Yes.
But there are certain ones I'm like, I knew they didn't grow around anybody funny. Like, what is... Not to say they're not funny. I'm just saying, like, where did it come? It sounds so dirty. I'm gonna have so many comedians hate me. I'm not saying no names. I'm just kidding.
Your mother's sense of humor just showed up.
Right? Oh, Lord. Get read by Ashlynn Salzano. Nice. You're a very observant person. Anybody tell you? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. But, okay. I have another question.
Yeah.
All right, so this is about coming out. You came out later in life at 26 years old. I don't think that's late, just FYI. But my opinion doesn't matter. What shifted for you, and how did that impact your comedy and confidence on stage? How old were you when you started comedy?
25. 26.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was 2015. Yeah, 2015. I did my first show, but then I didn't do because I took a class.
Okay.
And I did you got like a graduation show. And then I didn't do stand up for like that whole rest of the year. So it was July 2015. I didn't do stand up. And then I did a show in January. And then in March, I started Hump Day Comedy Night.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of count 2016 as my start year because I don't want to be a phony and be like, I did a show in July 2015, and everyone's like, but that wasn't.
But that's how it starts, though.
Yeah,
that's
does.
How it really does start with like one. Like I started comedy in 2011, and also happy 10 year.
Yeah, yes.
I'm counting it, but for you, but yeah, in 20 and I probably only did like 2 spots or 3 spots because it was August. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like I didn't have and everything. You had to like still figure out like what is this and how like have a routine where you're like going to shows and stuff like that. So you better count 2015. God dang it! No,
Thank you. I just don't want to be a phony.
Right.
You know how comedians are.
I feel you. No, there are comedians where like there's one guy that was just like, yeah, I go up like once. I think he said once every 2 months or something, and he was like really proud of that. And I was just like, wow, that doesn't. I would never. And this was in the beginning of your career, so it's just kind of like I wouldn't know. I would just put it this way: the more you get up, the more you get better.
100%.
Given you're funny and all that stuff. But
100%.
it's. Yeah. I would say it starts slow. It's okay to start slow, and it's okay to figure it out before you like pop up and throw a show.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of comedians that are just like, like one day on stage, and then they're doing shows. They're hosting shows now, but it's okay. I feel like sometimes people really want to host, and I just look at it that way. I don't know how we get into this direction. This is not where I want to go. Anyway, so I did want to say, like, when you came out. Like, do you feel like that impacted your either your confidence or just your comedy and everything, or maybe both? Like your style of comedy. Do you feel like things changed with that, and did it build like a sense of confidence in you that you didn't have before or something?
It definitely, and I'm sure you can attest to this. Like, it definitely was like a weight lifted, so I felt like more me. Mm-hmm. Like I feel. Yeah. I feel like the more distance you can put between who you are on stage and who you are in person, I think it makes you a better comedian.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because then you're 100% you on stage, and people can read phony. People can feel that. People can feel when you're being a lie, when you're just not who you say you are. I mean, we see it, right? Like, you and I have both ran shows, great shows. Mm-hmm. And you'll see a comedian go up and the room just be like, you're not who you say you are, and it's just such a weird art form in that way that like they don't have to know anything about you, but for some reason they can really sense that you are not who you say you are. Right, yeah. And I think it just lifted such a weight off my shoulder because I just felt like, okay, like now I'm talking about it on stage, like it's real, like it's real. I can be gay, I can talk about my girlfriend, I can talk about what it's like dating women, like I can be me. So it was definitely very freeing. It was very freeing. I don't know if it shaped my sense of humor because my mom is gay.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you know this?
I do a joke about it, but maybe you think it's a joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom is gay.
Oh, nice. That's so cool. First, your mom can take jokes and roast you and stuff, and now,
I'm just becoming my mother, really.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm just aging into my mom. Aren't we all?
Right.
So I don't know if it shaped my sense of humor. I don't know if it did that, but it definitely a weight lifted off my shoulder, and it opens up so many subjects that people can't touch that I can.
I definitely see that, and that's my thing is like it's knowing who you are already, or like being able, I feel like I look at comedy sometimes, and some comedians joke about like it being like therapy and whatnot, and I know what they mean by that, but at the same time, it's like you almost come out in many different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be like your sexuality or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But, like, you just come out in different ways because you're talking about stuff that you probably have never attempted to address, or like you're taking it into like something dark into something like funny. So there's ways of all around like that you build your comedy that's more than just like, hey, I came out. And some comedians are like that. They're like, hey, I came out, now I can talk about it, now I feel like I can be on stage, and I've also seen comedians who are completely in the closet but they do comedy, and I'm just like, Well, that's amazing. You know what I mean? I say that in a way that's amazing because I'm like, I would never be. Everybody would know what's going on. They will see all the signs. They'll see me sitting on laps and stuff.
Yes, some of us are in a glass closet, and some of us are not. Yes,
be so loud and clear, and you know what? I'm a firm believer. People know, you know. I think people are respectful not to say anything, or they don't want to know. You know, they don't want to believe that. You know, but it's an interesting thought that it's therapy because it's like it's probably for men too. Like I bet you a lot of men feel like that because men don't really think about what they think. Yeah. Right? Like they don't. That's right? Like a lot of times you have your thoughts and you go, those are thoughts. But when you do stand up, you're like, why did I have that thought? What's funny about that thought? Like, well, how can I make that funny? How do I feel about that thought? So it makes you think about what you're thinking about. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yes, it does. Yeah. It's really, really deep. I don't think you realize like you're not responding the way I think you should. It's like I say that because like they're almost in like they don't move in that way where that's something that as a woman or anybody who've ever been one before, I would just say that like that's what you think about things like safety. Yes. You know, we think about things like there was one conversation where like they were, you know, women say, or just people in general who know or are aware say safe flight or safe travels, whereas like men don't know, men don't hear that, number one, and then honestly they don't know to say that because they're just like, why would I need to be safe? You know what I mean? Because they don't think like that. But you're right, when it's on stage they're not used to being in their head about something, you know what I mean? And so them having to second guess. Yes, it has come from a lot of gay men, and I mostly like hear it from, or I say gay men because I'm talking to gay, you know, that's who I communicate with. But as far as like men in general, they're not used to being that vulnerable where they have to be in their head, you know, for a little bit. So
and stand up is such it will bring out the ugly in you. Like it's like an exfoliant. Right? Because it's you 100%. It's what you write. It's how you perform it. It's your timing, your delivery. Like, you don't have a script to fall back on that's like someone else's. You don't have like a team to fall back on. Like, it's 100% you. So it can either really tear you apart or like help you build yourself up. You know?
And it's a little bit of both because we definitely, I don't know how many times, like in the beginning especially, but I mean, I think I've done this a lot, but just been like, man, I quit comedy. You know what I mean? Not really like quitting, but just being like, I'm gonna, I'll do it. Knowing that there's something fulfilling and you love it, and when you love something and you're passionate about something, guess what? You don't just stop doing that. You know what I mean? Comedy hasn't done, if it's gone the way it should, where, you know, you have your ups and downs, you have your moments where like it's not good, you have your moments where you have a great set and stuff, you might perform in front of 3 people, you might perform in front of 1, it gets brutal, you know, but really, if you're passionate, you love it, something is still telling you to get back on that stage because you're fulfilling your truth, you're fulfilling your like life by that.
But it calls to you. It calls to you. You'll have a shitty set in front of 3 people, and you'll be like, "Why am I even doing this?" You go home, you're like, "I'll never do this again." Someone's like, "Hey, you want to do my show in Brooklyn?" You're like, "Absolutely."
2 seconds later, it's like, all right, because I think that in my mind, I'm like, hey, I want to redeem myself. I always like anytime there's like a rough set, I'm like, the next one's gonna be good. But you know what? I just there was one. There's a book that I'm reading, and it's called Inner Excellence. And I don't know if you ever read that, but this person who wrote this book basically is like a life coach or person for like athletes and stuff like that. Okay. So there's athletes who have like won the Olympics, the gold and all this other stuff. Anyway, and even Don Staley's in this book. And so he was saying that there's one technique to inner excellence, and it's visualizing yourself where you've had, like, say you've had a good set or a great show where you're just so proud of this moment. Visualize that every time you get back on stage. And because the reason why athletes can be successful is because they continue to focus on one thing, and that's, hey, I know I can do this in the journey. You know, they're having fun doing it. Number one, they're not thinking about, oh, I got to win this right away. You know what I mean? But my thing is, we always want to enjoy the experience. So the one thing that you want to do is like, hey, what was it like when I did do well? Even when you're like, because there's many times we have to teach ourselves how to get out of our heads when it's not when it's not going when we're nervous about a show or that we're thinking about, we're in our head or we're just excited. I always say excited because like sometimes saying nervous, you get adjusted to crowds and stuff like that. So, I think it's just like, it definitely makes, that's just what the book told me to do. Yeah. And so I did that the other day and my set was actually really good. Not that I like really doubted myself like that, but it's one of those things. Like, it's just kind of like, I want to write new and I want to da-da-da-da, and you're just thinking of all this stupid crap that nobody's even worried about you doing.
No one even thinking about it. I always say, like, when I first started doing stand-up, I used to be so nervous I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat all day. Like, because I used to be so nervous. Yeah. And I was like, a lot of times if you don't eat and you're nervous, you're going to act like a bitch, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to act like a bitch all day. You're just going to be a bitch. So I had to ask myself, I'm like, if you want to do this, you really want to be a bitch all day? Like, then you have to, you can't like, then you have to give up stand up. Yeah. If you want to do this, you got like, it can't change who you are. Yeah, and so what I do is whenever I'm nervous, because when you're, to me, like nervous and excitement is the same feeling. Yes, but when you're nervous, you're thinking about what can go wrong. And when you're excited, you're thinking about what can go right. Right. So I try, like this Friday I had a set and I was nervous about it. And before I went on stage, I'm like, okay, what are you excited about? And I'm like, they're going to love my homeless joke that I have. And I just kept being like, they're going to love that. They're going to love that. They're going to love that. And I didn't let any of the, but what if I stutter? What if I miss this joke? What if I mispronounce this word? Which is like a lot of things that I have issues with. Mm-hmm. My pronunciation, because I'm from New York, I talk so lazy that it's a problem I have on stage. So I just try to think about the things I'm excited about. Right. Yeah.
It's that is the best part, because if you think of anything else, it's just kind of, I think anytime we've doubted ourselves, we know what the crowd is going to be. There's times crowds, because you're almost thinking so positively or like just kind of stay focused, even the crowds that you think are just going to be the shittiest end up listening to you. Yes. Or like, focusing on you. And I know about that homeless joke and it's funny. So yeah, I do. And that's my thing. It's like having your favorite jokes too. And also being in my head of, am I saying this too much? And I don't think there's a thing anymore, because I said, as long as you're enjoying telling the joke, that's what matters. It's when you get too far in your head, I would say put the joke down and let it like just sit for a second. Mm-hmm. Maybe do 2 shows or whatever, but pick it back up when you feel good. And a lot of times I just pick it back up whenever like I don't know what I want to do, and I just know I always go to that show.
The Old Faithful.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's definitely important to focus on like what your performance is, what you want it to be like, or what it's going to be like, and not, something that can get in your way or get in your head, because people can tell when you're, like you said, like people can tell when you're not being authentic, when they're not being real about your stand-up. What was your first real taste of comedy, either performing it or falling in love with it? Ooh, that's a deep question.
That's a deep question. The first time I fell in love with comedy was Cat Williams, the Pimp Chronicles.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I can watch that over
my God. Yeah. You just talk about a masterpiece of a comedy special where he talks about silly shit, real shit, and it's so physical. Yeah. And it's just like, for that whole 45 minutes, you're not thinking about anything other than Cat Williams. Like, a lot of times you watch a stand-up special and you're like, oh, let me check my phone. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, let me get water. But for the whole time, you just enamored with him. You're just like...
start to finish.
Yeah. I was like, he's a magician. Like, I remember watching him and being like, this is magic. I'm like, what he is doing on stage is pure magic. Yeah. Like just the roller coaster of stand-up, right? Yes. Bringing up a serious topic. And then just taking it right to
He's absolutely one of the great. He's a incredible. I don't think I've seen a comedian start to finish with no lull. There's
yes. Yeah. And just like so authentically him. I mean, even his Shannon Sharp interview went crazy, right? It's like
we ain't gonna see Shannon Sharp no more. But yeah, of course. But yeah, he was just like, that's why I'm saying he's so, not Shannon Sharp, I'm talking about Cat Williams. I think Cat Williams is like he's just one of those people you can look at and just even when he like it doesn't matter what he said, you're just gonna sit there and you're gonna have a good laugh, and then he's gonna drop some shit. He drops stuff when he in a funny way, and people are just like, I think Shannon Sharp missed some of them things that he could have that he was saying. But I will put it that way. Yeah, he was just I would say his interview I probably watched the whole way through because he was just that incredible.
He's just so dramatic, so theatrical, but he knows it, but he's always speaking the truth. He's just very funny to me. And that was the first time I fell in love with stand-up. I was like, because I had watched Dave Chappelle Killing Me Softly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I really loved Dave Chappelle's sketch show on Comedy Central. I loved it. And but I watched Killing Me Softly. I thought it was okay. I've watched Delirious, Raw, Richard Pryor. But Cat Williams was the first time I was like, this is absolute magic. Mm-hmm. And then and I saw Kevin Hart do it. Seriously funny. Mm-hmm. That's one of the best stand-up specials again. Yeah. And when I saw Kevin Hart do it, it was kind of like watching the trick of the magician. Like when Cat Williams did it, I didn't know what the magic trick was, right? Mm-hmm. But when I saw Kevin Hart do it, I'm like, oh, he's just being him. Yeah. Like he has these funny thoughts, but it's just really him. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, I'm gonna give it a try, and then I took a class. I did improv first because I was a little bit scared of just jumping into stand up.
Right. No, that's smart. That was smart.
So I took improv classes, and I did that, and then I took a stand up class. Okay. And I really wanted the stand up class because I wanted to be held accountable for writing. Right. And doing a show, and then once you invite people to a show, they'll be like, when's the next one? When's the next one?
Right, yeah.
So I felt like that would really hold me accountable to pursuing stand-up, Because stand-up, you're your own boss. So if this week me and you we don't want to do any shows, we don't have to. Yeah. But we should. Yes. Like
we gotta grow.
Exactly.
Oh my God, the kicking and screaming to like,
but exactly. Where if it's a snow blizzard, raining, like we gotta go, right. You're on a show, you don't call out. Right. Those are things that you have to hold yourself and be disciplined, and that's really hard. Yeah. It's really hard when you don't get paid. Right? You don't get paid.
Justice for comedians. We need pass that. Put some dollars in that tip bucket.
So it's I just wanted discipline and then I guess like having your first good set. How do you go back?
That's
How do you go back? Like
because you're chasing that high.
Yes.
Like I need it.
You're like having withdrawals. You're like I haven't heard a person laugh.
It's like scratching. Yeah. Comedy is like crack, so if you guys haven't picked up the clue.
I haven't heard someone laugh in ages, I need my next fix, you're just like going crazy.
Oh my God, it's rough. Yeah. It is, I would say yes, that is definitely, it's a journey of getting, like loving it before you perform. Because it's one of those things like you look, but you see yourself in it doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but it's like you don't see that full picture until you actually say, you know what, I think I'm gonna give this a shot. You know? But I definitely think that a lot of comedians now. Patrice O'Neal passed away when I started comedy. Like literally my first or second. No, it was probably like my third mic or something like that. He passed away. I mean, well, not. Get what I mean? It's the way I'm saying it. It's weird. But anyway, so Patrice O'Neal, and ever since then, like I believe it was maybe like 6 years later, somebody compared me to Patrice O'Neal, and I was just like, it was a great set. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, I was like, that is a great. Thank you, but still, I was just like, I got some work to do. But I think it's because Patrice O'Neal is big with his crowd work. And so he can start a comedy special just kind of roasting the crowd and stuff like that and just get into it, and he's also freaking funny. So what I would do is before like performing and stuff like that, not that I don't know if watching comedy like helps you or like that, but there are moments when like I had a big show or something that I just kind of need to listen to comedy. It's kind of like listen to music or whatever. So I would always, while I'm getting ready, I play his I would just play like whatever, one of his specials or something like that, and do it from there. But yeah, he's another one that's like you can literally watch him in anything. Like, he's just that. And I mean, he passed away a very long time ago and stuff like that. But he was one of those, like, if you like Kevin Hart, you like Cat Williams, you definitely will love Patrice O'Neal.
And it's just a testament, right? Like, he's been gone for so long. We still talk about him. He's still in the comedy scene. Like, his name is still there. Like, his name is still, like, one of the best. Patrice O'Neal. Like, yeah.
It's dope. It's dope. Like, that's what I love about. And my thing is, do you ever feel kind of, I guess, I don't really know. I don't want to use a negative word toward it, but do you ever feel a little guilty about, kind of idolizing or like admiring like male comedians over, or like, do you feel like there were enough female comedians or whatever the case, queer comedians that you could relate to where it would, that it could weigh? Because I feel like I wasn't exposed to a lot of other things. And what did we see first? We saw male comedians, whether it's white or black male comedians, you know what I mean? So it's like seeing anybody else and women, because the whole movement of like women aren't funny and shit like that. Like, I feel like that's where, why we didn't see them as much on TV or like doing stand-up. We know the ones we would see, but where they had comedy specials, and it would be male comedians. So do you feel like, you said you do feel like guilt of like
100%, 100%. And that doesn't mean that, you don't have to be like, oh, Cat Williams isn't even that good because women weren't being pushed. Like, you still give your flowers to the male comedians, but it just sucks that like we don't really have anything to, right? Like you'll get like 100 male comedians drop a stand-up special and you get one woman drop a stand-up special. And then who is she being pushed by? Like there's a whole agenda behind what you see. There's a lot of great comedians that will never see a Netflix special. And they're some of the best. They will bring I mean, we saw it with Earthquake, right?
Oh yes.
Everybody talks about him. All comedians talk about how they never want to follow him. And he didn't have a stand-up special until Dave Chappelle produced his special. And it's like that's what's been going on with women too. It's like there are like, if you think women aren't funny, you're not watching comedy. You're not. You're watching that mainstream Netflix shit that you get all the time, which Netflix is doing a better job. Like I will say,
they're definitely getting much better. And but before it was like one special would be the one special of the year, or like that one that everybody liked. Now you're starting to see more and more, comedians go up and and it's just, and adding more diversity, definitely adding more like queer content and whatnot. So it's definitely getting much better. But I knew it had like to grow in that way, and they need to hear people's voices, truly hear them about like how this needs to improve a little more.
And it's like I remember being like 19, like out of high school and talking about comedy and just like not mentioning one woman comic as one of my favorite specials. And I was just like, oh, like maybe women aren't funny, right? Right? Maybe women, not that women aren't funny, because I grew up with a ton of funny women.
Right. But it's like, can y'all hire them then?
They need jobs too, so they.
Right.
But it's more of the sense of like, oh, maybe women can't do that, right? Maybe women can't do stand up. Like maybe we don't know that art, right? So you just kind of put yourself in that. And then what I started doing was watching like little Comedy Central. Remember when they used to do like the 15 minutes? Like they did the Don't Tells before Don't Tells. Yeah, where they did like little Comedy Central and they would like release it. And I watched Eliza, I always fuck up her last name, Schlesinger?
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
And I was like, this bitch is so funny. I was like, she is so funny, right?
Yeah.
And like, even, you have Monique, but they never put Monique in like a stand-up, like it was always like her personality, right? Like that's what they wrote on her personality.
The talk show, the late night show or something. Yeah.
Having her host the BET Awards, like you see her funny on stage, how she can control a crowd and stuff like that.
Right.
But they never put her in that stand-up light. And so like you had to like go dig for a female comedian stand-up special. And like, how many people
till this day it's like that. Till this day, I don't think it's that easy to like access a good funny female comedian, because I mean, just because they're a female, I'm not gonna just say, hey, they're funny. You know what I mean? And that's the same. I'll treat the guys the same way, and whoever them days, you know what I mean? Everybody needs to be funny at the end of the day, and so I think we should always be able to Google, you know, someone that we want to see, you know, outside of like the male, the men, and just to get some good. A good special, you know, and also I think that like some of the specials are being edited like really weird now. Like the laughs don't match the, you know, they're adding in these laughs, and it's not that. And the thing about it is, I know comedians that are funny. You know what I mean? I know that there are some that like they just have a bad special. It's not. I was like, you guys need to see them somewhere else. Like you need somebody to hold up a camera while they're on stage and being themselves, because I think there's just too many. Like things you can and can't say or post or whatever on for Netflix, for these like certain networks, you know. So maybe it's like just edited tightly, you know. Yeah, and, like makes it a bit too bubbly and, you know, made for kids type of situation.
You're like, what is this? You're like, this ain't the coffee shop in Brooklyn.
Exactly. Where's the basement at? All right. That's what I do embrace. I miss like comedians that were like, some of them that would do like in Union Hall and stuff. And I was like, I don't realize how that's such a dope thing to, you know, like it's made for it, you know. Even like hell, like Littlefield would even pull it off, but the only trick with part with Littlefield was like, you need to make sure the sound is just good, because I mean, you know, Littlefield, like even from the stage it could sound a little tricky, but I think that like, or the Bell House, you know, like these places where it's not just like these little not auditoriums, what are they called, like little what is it, like stadiums and stuff like that. I'm just kind of like, I get it, but. And I mean, I know Radio City is nice. Trust me, I would love to perform at Radio City and all this other stuff.
We'll take a special if you're Radio City.
I'm not here to knock it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying that like when like stuff like that, like even Radio City, like they make it looks nice, you know. But there's a lot of places that they go like to different cities and they try to just do a special on like some stage, and it's just really awkward. It just looks awkward. It looks like they're in somebody's auditorium. And you know, they're doing some laughs, but you can't. It's like what they're saying. They can say like something like small and they'll get the laugh, but then when the funny part comes, they just like it's like it doesn't feel real.
Because we know. We go, that would never get a laugh.
Exactly.
We know that would never.
Like, that wasn't the funny part.
Yeah.
And they'll just like I was like, who edited this? Does he do stand-up comedy? All right, now I want to shift things a little bit, because I see you're a gamer, right?
Oh, yes.
You like playing video games.
I love playing video games.
What's one thing video games taught you that actually applies to comedy or life? Does that? Ooh, that's like kind of deep. I don't know if that's like. I'm not expecting this to be like some Black Mirror where you're like sticking a chip to your head. And like, I'm gonna go in the video game and I'm gonna just stand up comedy.
I guess video game is trial and error, right? Like when you're trying, no matter what game you're playing, like, you know, I play a lot of Call of Duty, so you're not gonna win every match. You know, you're not gonna win every match, but you get better. You know, you know, playing any like Mario game you play, right? Like it's trial and error. Like, okay, that didn't work. It didn't work. Maybe let me try this. I guess not getting discouraged about failing.
Right.
Because a lot of times, I know you can agree to this, our joke will fail, and we'll be like, what was wrong with that joke? And then we'll go back and we'll fix it, and all of a sudden, it's the best joke we have.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
You go and you workshop it. A lot of times, you try a joke. It does great. You do it again. It's failing. Yeah. So, it's just, I think it made me not afraid of failure. Like, I'm just like I'm like, I failed a couple of Mario boards before, you know, like, I guess, you know, like if I can do anything like that, problem solving, but I don't know if that, you know, that pertains more to life, I think, trying to figure things out, how I can make things work, stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think, because I mean, at the end of the day, like your comedy is basically like a career, you know, for you. And so there's a lot of ways that you kind of have to figure out, not retweet, well, that too, but like tweak a few things where you need to make it work financially, And so, yeah, I agree. Like, I think that that's pretty cool that you think of it with like the fear, as far as like the fear part, or just the fact that like you need to workshop. And that's so true, because that's one thing that nobody talks about. And a lot of these new comedians, you know, they're coming straight out of like TikTok or something. So everything is like short form or whatnot. And so I was like, I don't know where this comes from, because there's many times like I've told jokes for almost like damn near probably like a few years, because it's one or more, because I needed to workshop, talk about it. Maybe I let it sit after I workshopped it. And there's many jokes. And then also to get to, you know, I don't know, that's not everybody's goal to get like a comedy special or have a half hour, but as far as that should be a part of your resume, just in the comedy world, or a 15-minute or something, something where people can see like you in long form. And but those jokes that you tell, those weren't just made up off the fly. You know, you spent time and in many rooms telling those jokes.
Yes.
You know, so just think about the comedians who are still writing their own jokes, but then also getting up and also shooting specials and trying to keep themselves refreshed and new. Or maybe every time you see them, they might have something new. Like that takes a lot of practice.
A lot of practice and a lot of balls. A lot of balls to do new material.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It can be dreadful. It can be really dreadful. So okay. So as far as you having a podcast, all right, I want to talk about your podcast. How has podcasting changed how you connect with people compared to doing stand up?
Oh, I good for you. Yeah. You ate. Yeah, you ate. Yeah, you ate.
Because I was just like, you know what? This has really changed. This really does change like your whole into engaging and also listening. So yeah. Yes.
I think I love podcasting, because I think with stand up, you're like, where are the jokes? Like this has to be funny. This has to be funny. Whereas being funny on a podcast is very natural. Yes. You have to. It's a give and take. Like I have to listen to you, get those little gifts. You're listening to me, get those little gifts, making them funny, heightening, and stuff like that. And I like it because it just feels more natural. Like we're just talking. And I guess I don't have any social anxiety. If you have social anxiety, maybe podcasting would be terrible. Yeah. But I love podcasting. I just think it's such, and a lot of times I'll grab something I say on the podcast and I'll try to use it on stage.
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I say you should feel inspired. It's good to feel inspired in each moment that you're creating, because at the end of the day, it's connected. Yeah. And it's comedic because you're being funny, or at least like for the most part. And so like, but it's in a different way. So like, that's just like when I think about things to go on TikTok, I'm like, now, because you also spend so much time on stuff like that, that is also something that you're just like, all right, I need to filter out like what I want to use on stage. So yeah, same thing with podcasting. Like we say things in the moment, like riff, like for this, you just never know what you said, or you might even listen back and like be like, yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Like I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, like you know, like you just realize that you do get it from your father's side, right? Yeah. So now you can like, maybe you think of a story with them and you think, like it's just like, it's almost like I write sketches too, like comedy sketch. I love doing that too. It's just like all some form of being funny, right? All some form of connecting, relating, and being funny. And like that's ultimately like what I love about stand up. So yeah.
That's the best part. And the best part about doing stand up is I always tell people, like, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, like with stand up or with direction, just like do it until you start to feel inspired. Because I don't know if you knew this, because I sure didn't, if like you knew that you would be into writing sketches or into podcasts, or writing and shooting sketches and like podcasting and stuff like that. Did you know that that's something that you would get into after you started comedy?
No. Like it's all just been like an idea. Yeah. When I first started podcasting, it was this girl, Katie, came to one of the Hump Day shows, and she asked me, she's like, oh, have you ever done a podcast? And I was like, no. She was like, I think you would be so good at it. She's like, I work for this radio. I want you to come interview. And that's how I did my first podcast. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I love this. Yeah. I love this. Yeah. So I know you don't know. And it's interesting where it takes you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It does. And then I always say, like, just write down every idea that you have. You never know what you're because there's a lot of times I'm like, I'm doing too much. Yeah. But no, like, I say just write it down and let it marinate, let it sit on it so that you can accept the fact that that's who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you belong. Ooh, that was deep. Wow. Like, why am I just being like the old wise one to the I'm just eating.
You're just eating.
All right, and let's see here. What does success look like for you now compared to when you first started performing? Ooh, just hitting them. Just kidding. Go ahead.
You know what? I would say that when you start stand up, you're like, I just want a stand up special. I just want a stand up special. And then you just realize that, like, that's not all it takes. You know, you're like, that's not what it is. You know, success for me would be doing it all. Honestly, like doing it all, like being on TV, acting, being in movies.
Right. Yeah.
All of it. All of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely opens your mind up to like what all the possibilities that could come from this.
Yeah.
It's like you want to hit everything, but just know everything takes time. It's always going to be going to be a journey. You know, we don't have just like, hey, in 5 years we're going to be doing this, or we don't know that. You know, we just know that what we are going to do to make sure that we're in the spaces that we need to get these things.
And what we enjoy, you know, and ultimately
exactly.
like what we enjoy. And a lot of times, like, people get into stand-up comedy because they think they want to do that, but then they realize they like to produce more and they like to run, you know, direct specials more. So or write more, you know. So it's all just a journey, really. It's just a journey.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just a journey. It's a journey with no ladder, you know, no ladders. Just no.
You're not getting any steps. You're not getting any extra flights. You're not gonna get
no.
You're just out here, just assed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have one last question that I like to ask all the guests on here after we have these nice conversations, deep conversations. But what would you tell like your younger self? What would like you tell your like 8-year-old self right now? Like, what advice would you say to you?
Okay, RuPaul. All right, RuPaul.
Because if you don't love yourself, how the hell you? You know what's coming.
And what would you say to younger Jaden?
Ashlyn, I bet Ashlyn, like, if you like, hey, little Ashlyn, Ashlyn's like, shut the fuck up.
Pretty much.
We don't talk about feelings here.
Yeah. I'll be like, bitch, I don't know you, you know. I would just say, I would honestly say, like, just follow your instincts. Like, follow, like, I've been in art since I was like 5 years old. You know, always following the art, and a lot of times I let it go, especially in high school. And a lot of times I wonder if I would have stayed with it, if I would have been a little bit further in my life. You know, I auditioned for LaGuardia. Do you know LaGuardia High School? Have you heard of it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't get another season. Didn't it was actually really good. What was that? Didn't it go like 2 seasons or something like that? Or am I thinking of the
LaGuardia, the high school? They had a show?
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of what's the high school in Brooklyn, the one that has their own show. Oh God, it's over here, over by the Brooklyn Museum and Library. What is it called? Grand Army Plaza. Grand Army. It's called Grand Army, I think. It's like it's a really good show. I think it's on Hulu, but it's sorry.
Really? Yeah, no.
So I thought you were telling me like about a show, and I was like, oh wait, that's I saw that.
Yeah,
no, but I know, because you went to school with Nicki Minaj and stuff, right?
No, I wish that would have been LaGuardia if they would have allowed me, but apparently I was up against Nicki Minaj, and they said, I don't think so. Yeah, they said, girl. They said, come back a few years. Right. They're like, Miss Nicki Minaj is in the building.
Right. No, that's Nicki Minaj for Nicki Minaj was Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
You're going to get turned away over like just a regular ass.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So seriously. No, no, but you were telling me about LaGuardia. What about LaGuardia?
I auditioned for that school for drama, and I didn't get in. Okay. And I kind of like gave up on it. I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'm not good for this. But I wish I would have just kept it going. So I would have just told myself, follow my instincts. I have really good instincts, I think.
Yeah. You know what we always know what we want to do, but it's like if somebody gives us like some form of rejection or say no, then we're just like, ooh, you're right. Like, maybe this isn't, it's so easy to step away. Cause like, even looking back, I'm just kind of like, man, I just wish I had spoken out loud about it, because I just feel like, yes, there are moments where people didn't think like artists could make money and da-da-da. So like, of course, your family might not think that that's like a goal that you should be hitting.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, think about like how many successful like saxophone players and successful like athletes even that are, just followed what they like to do and is play a game. You know what I mean? And even now, people sit there and play video games and make money. Like, there is nothing that is a dumb idea.
Like, I remember, like everyone's parents being like, when like we used to play video games, that's like, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time playing those video games. Those video games are useless. People make millions of dollars now
off of that. Isn't that crazy?
There are millionaires.
Yeah.
You know, like, wasting your time being online and stuff. Like, now people just stream and do shit and make money.
That's it. From home. They could just do that. Like, right there in the chair. Right there where you're at. It really is that simple. It really is that simple. It's just consistency. That's all it takes. And not letting anything else tell you that you're doing something crazy. There's no such thing. Like, if people who invented things said that, we wouldn't have like a kitchen table, we wouldn't have like stands and chairs, and you know what I mean? Like, if somebody didn't go, you know what, this is what we need to do, so you're right. Follow your instinct, follow your gut. Always follow that. So we're gonna play a game now. Now it's time to play some games.
All right, love it.
Wrap it up. So it's rapid fire game. I don't know why it's called New York City Netflix or Nah, because that's kind of not how this game is going to be designed. I don't know. I Googled this, you guys. All right. So you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
Okay.
So, all right. Let's see here. Bronx or Brooklyn brunch?
Bronx brunch or Brooklyn brunch? Mm-hmm. Brooklyn brunch. Bronx is not known for their brunch.
Even in Harlem, you can go to Harlem before you go
to the Bronx.
You're like, what? Your face is just like.
I'm like,
I feel bad for the people just listening to audio, because I'm just like, don't get the real deal. You're like, what is it? You look so you're like, no, like, just like you said in the beginning, you're like, there are places we just don't go. Like,
you're definitely not in the Bronx for brunch.
Like, you think you're going to commute back from the Bronx after you've had, like, 5 million mimosas? Like, do you really want to do that? Like, and not even no shade to the Bronx, because I'm sure.
No, shade to the Bronx. Act better. The Bronx needs to be told to act better, okay?
Yeah.
They need to be told that. They're out of control. The Bronx is out of control. You don't go to the Bronx unless you want to be robbed, Like, if I had clothes I didn't want, I'd be like, let me go to brunch to get robbed.
Just walk around like that is hilarious. Oh my god!
And Brooklyn is known for their brunch.
They are, and they have like really great brunch spots.
Yeah.
Sweet Catch is a really good one. It's Black woman owned.
And,
nice. It's like a small kind of space. I think they do have a back patio area, but it's really, really good. I think it's in Bed-Stuy or something like that.
Okay.
So she didn't endorse this, but it's good. You're gonna get also some good Southern food if you really like fish and grits or shrimp and grits. I would say, coming from Charleston, that is probably the best one that I've gotten outside of Charleston. So go to Sweet Catch. It's really good. All right. Anyway, just a quick shout out. Let's see here. Worst thing to hear after a set.
God. Oh man. Worst thing to hear. Fuck. It depends, right?
Yeah,
if you have a bad set, I hate.
You had a great set.
Yeah.
Sorry, you get. Or when they didn't even see you. Like, you probably saw them walk out the door, like, right when you started, and they come back in, like, at the end.
You had a great set.
Oh, great set. Shut the.
You don't fucking know me. Out of here.
Oh my god.
That sends me into a spiral. Like, if you have a bad set, someone's like, great set. I'm like, you think I'm so not only am I so bad, but you think I'm so fragile. I need you. Like,
right. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I am, but.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. We're gonna.
Or when someone gives you an advice about a joke.
Oh yeah. Oh. I think that
and
there are comedians that will like be like, hey, do I have permission to do the X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, thanks for asking, because then it's okay to ask. I think that like that's fine, but make sure we know each other like that in a way. Like I really just I don't like unsolicited advice, especially when I was just like, hey, I wasn't even trying on stage, so what's your advice from?
Well, one, I don't mind comedians as much as I mind audience members, because audience members, it almost sucks, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't like when it's, and sue me, I don't like when it's a male comedian. Don't tell me what to do. You don't live here.
Yeah.
You don't live here. You don't even know here. You don't go here. Like, you don't go here. So please, get out,
Oh my God,
unless we're friends, of course.
Right.
If someone comes up to you like, yo, I really love this joke, like this and that, like that is a little bit different than being like, you should change it. I'm like, and you should fucking change your whole face. You know, like it's just like, get the fuck away from me.
He's like, come on, you want to go? You want to go toe to toe right now? You don't even know what they walked into. Like, no, but that's true, because men like to mansplain a lot, and especially cis heterosexual men. Like gay men, I don't have that issue with gay men.
Me neither.
But cis heterosexual men would definitely like feel the need to give you a little. Now I've had cis heterosexual men or some that may have put in a word for me to get on a show or something, not that they had to. I think that that's awesome, but that's what I want you to do. Like that, I don't want you to give me. I was like, he's like, hey, do you want to hear something really quick? I don't even know. I don't know.
No, unless you're telling me where to be on a Saturday booked. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Exactly. Where should I stop and go and check out some shows and some stage time?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. This is gonna make you think too. If you had a drag king name, what would it be? Have you thought about this before? That's pretty cool.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I've thought of drag queen names. Why would I think of that though? You know what I mean? Like, why would I think of that?
Just sit there.
I'm just watching too much Drag Race.
Right.
Oh my God. No, I don't have one.
I feel like it should have the word thunder in it.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's like sharp thunder.
Sharp thunder.
No, that sounds too. I want like some I want like some type of first name that ends with like thunder, like last name thunder. Ashlynn Salzano, that's your first and last. Thunder. No, that sounds too much. That's tricky.
That's tricky. And now I'm like, why do you only think about drag queen names? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, why am I thinking about like Penny out of vodka? You know what I mean? Like,
no, seriously, it's
like,
yeah, it's definitely like that. It's I have never thought about that for myself.
You don't have a drag king name?
No,
not even now.
I actually thought about doing drag king. I thought about it once upon a time. I really was gonna do it, but I don't think my heart wasn't in it.
You were like, and then I just said no.
Yeah. I don't think it was. I was really gonna do it, and like I had a friend that was like inspired, like kind of just like put, and I was just like, "Is this for you? Not for you? Like, is this more for you?"
I feel like yours would be good if you were like Butler Thunder or something like that.
Butler Thunder. Hey, we both can't have thunders in our names, all right?
There can't be two thunders in this
the
world.
other thunder. Oh man! All right. Well, do you know what song you would always come up at?
Probably be Bad Bunny. Titi me preguntó.
Oh yes. Mine would probably be Glorilla. Yeah.
Which one?
What's the song called where she's just like
GLO. That one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know the name of it.
Me neither.
I'm gonna post it. I'll have it on here. I have but yeah, that one. Actually, all of her songs. You know what I mean? Like I'll just do like 5 good ones, and I don't even listen to like new artists like that. I listen, I like whatever, but but yeah, she's the one. Just because we have the whole name, I feel like I need to the same name. I need to just always know the words to her song, and the dances, and the and just everything. I need to go to all her concerts, and I should probably be getting free tickets because we have the same name.
Probably. Glow Thunder.
Right.
Glow Thunder.
Glow Thunder, Glorilla. Okay.
Yeah. I would probably then be Good Bunny, and I would just do all the Bad Bunny songs.
It's like Good Bunny and Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Hey. Just here. All right. So one video game you'd risk being late to a gig for?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. I feel like you could that's an easy game to get like sucked into, and where they're just like why were you late? You just had to be there.
No, I would just say, the trains that I drove. I have a car.
Has that happened to you before? Have you been late because you were like on a video game, or do you play video games like before sets just for that reason?
Sometimes, but if I'm late, I'm late to like my calculation of what time I want to get there. Like I always like to be 15 minutes earlier to a show. Because I don't like to walk in last minute and then they're like, we were worried, where were you? I don't like to add a stress to the producer. Because I've been a producer, so
you gotta be a producer to really, because comics ain't shit, and so they'll show up late and be like, hey, I'm on my way when the show already started, talking about, can I go
first? Can I go first?
Or the one that wants to, the ones that want to go first are always late. Y'all are always like, you ever been late on my show? Just know I thought about that shit.
Speak on it.
Oh my God.
They'd be like, can I go first? And then they're 10 minutes, 15 minutes late to the show. And you're like,
this doesn't add. And then you want to and then also they rush in there. And then now you got to like comedians that probably thought that they can get like bumped up a bit.
Yeah.
It's just too much emotional. Like it's an emotional roller coaster the whole way through.
Well, you're like, oh, you're going to go first because he's not here or they're not here. And then the person's like, okay, I'll go first. And then like, I'll get to leave. And then the person storms in and is like, while you're on stage, like, they're like, me.
Right. Like, no, sit your ass down. Wait for a second. Sometimes I'll be like, yeah, wait for one more comic. And then I'll show up.
Do you know Jaron Young? Jaron Young?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Am I saying it right? Jaron?
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Jaron, yeah.
So we were on a show together, and the people that were supposed to go before us weren't there. It was a back-to-back show, though. Mm-hmm. So they were like, oh, do you mind going up first? He's like, if I gotta take bullet, he's like, can I go first in the next one, too, so I can leave? I was like, yo.
I love that.
I was like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, am I wrong for that? I'm like, if you gotta bite bullet, you gotta get something out of it.
Yeah, seriously.
If you gotta bite bullet, you gotta get something out of it.
I'm serious. Like, that's how I feel about it too. It's just like, and also I always put me first.
Yeah.
Always, like, unless this is one of those where they just like have, because half the time it's just everybody's doing the same time.
Yeah.
Like in the same lineup. There's no like where they have like headliners at every single show and stuff like that. So like, honestly, put me up first, because then I can get everything out and talk about stuff and y'all haven't heard it yet.
And now if we had the same premise, you got to change your shit.
Exactly.
Like,
Thank you. Yeah. That's happened too many times. I'm like, that's when I get hard on myself. Is I'm like, am I being creative enough? But no, I'm just like, you have to know that we're all watching and seeing the same things and talking about the same things. It's just going to happen that way at this point. Nobody's taking anybody's stuff. Well, they have, but I'm just saying that we're just too much. You got to make yourself really you got to have certain jokes that really where it's not like I would always say not hacky, where they can just say, hey, well, I'm going to think about another type of joke like this. You know what I mean? Like usually people, and that's hard. You got
to make them personal. That's the thing. You got to make them very personal to you, so that even if someone tries to steal it, it's not even going to sound good coming from their mouth.
Seriously. Yeah.
That's how I think about it. I used to be so like. If I heard someone have the same premise as me, I used to like lose it. I used to be like,
I wasn't a good person. I wasn't a person that was, I'd be having more in my head. I'm like, you just wait. Ooh, they're going to get it. And you get yourself all fueled and fired up over like somebody don't even know you can't stand.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the game, because I keep talking your head off.
Right. No. You're doing just fine. This is how. Trust me. The comedians that like I vibe with every time I'm around them, like I was just like we'd be on here for like 5 hours. If I didn't move on, I swear. Like that's how the vibe goes. All right. So I only have a couple more anyways.
Okay.
And then, also my battery might shut out in 20 minutes. Let's see here. So I gotta wrap it up. But all right. So an old school sitcom character you secretly relate to. What did you used to watch back in the day? Or like, what was your like go-to?
Girlfriends.
Okay.
Will and Grace.
Ooh.
Martin.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Martin.
The Jamie Foxx show where he was
Yes.
the hotel. He worked at the hotel with his aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
The Wayne brothers.
Yes. The gems.
Yeah. Oh, you know, like for some reason, secretly, like Lynn from Girlfriends.
I like that.
Secretly, you know, like that's one that like you don't
yeah.
you don't tell people that. You're not always like, I really relate to Lynn because Lynn was like the weirdo of the group.
She was the weirdo. She was the one that like she basically formed her, like every guy she was with dated. She became like that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, Lynn was a little bit, but I liked her because it was one of those things where like she just didn't care. You know what I mean? She was a bum and she didn't care.
Yeah, she was a bum. That's the thing. She like lived with Joan for a while. Like she was always borrowing money. But I feel like I related to her because she was like very free spirit.
Yeah.
Free spirit. She was the creative one, you know? Mm-hmm. So I related to I liked Lynn.
Yeah, she's dope. I would just say, well, I wouldn't want to be Joan. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even admit to that. Joan got on my freaking nerves. I swear.
Joan or Tony. I would not want to be those two.
Yeah. I was just like, geez, let me go to Martin, see who I can relate to. Martin. Anyway, so your go-to pizza topping. Don't lie. Why would you need to lie about that?
Because people be lying. People be lying about not liking pineapple.
Oh yeah,
people be lying.
That's actually really good. Pineapple is really good.
Pineapple and bacon. You ever get a pineapple and bacon pizza? Oh man.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Is that your go-to or something?
Mine is like extra cheese. I kind of like extra cheese, pepperoni, and sausage.
Wow. My lactose intolerant would not let me do the extra cheese. Jeez. Oh, it would be a wrap after freaking 2 seconds. I'd bite in that thing, everything would just explode.
So what do you get on your pizza?
Well, I actually I just don't eat too much pizza. You know, It's all about the portion size before my body acts up. But like I can't eat margarita pizza.
Right, because that's just blocks of cheese.
It's just I had the worst cramps in my life on that one. But I usually just get like either pepperoni or like I like a meat lover.
Same.
That's always my go-to. And then I also have to have that's about it. And then like maybe like I don't know, it's to add a little razzle dazzle if they have like a special sauce. That makes sense. You know, like you had like the garlic and the butter sauce with
the garlic butter
from but they have that. That's like the act. But I sound like I don't even be eating pizza right now. I'm trying to get in shape. All right, let's see here. So actually, pizza is actually can be pretty good protein. I had a personal trainer that told me that eating pizza is actually better than eating like a bag of chips.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. Pizza's not that bad. It's just how many of it you have, right? It's like pasta and pizza. Like you go to Italy, these people are thin, but that's all they eat.
Yeah.
But it's because, you know, all the things we add in here in America to our shit.
Oh, yeah. Everything's like processed and weird.
Let's not get into it.
Yeah. Exactly. We can go down the pizza.
This is a 6-hour podcast.
Right? All right. Let's see here. So 2 more. If stand-up didn't exist, what would you be doing instead? Ooh.
Not creatively. I have to be...
Okay. No, it doesn't have to be. It could be whatever you want. If you didn't have stand up, what else would you do?
I would definitely be like a movie writer, movie director.
Okay, I like that.
I love movies.
Do you still think about? I mean, can you still see yourself though outside of it?
Yeah. That to me though is very scary and super far. Mm-hmm. Like I lack the confidence in doing that. Right. But I would love to do that.
That's awesome.
Not creatively, I'd probably be a dirty, corrupt DEA agent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez, Ashlynn, really?
Yeah.
Why do you gotta be dirty and corrupt? Like,
corruption is in, Glow. I don't know if you've been looking. Corruption is in.
It's the ruler of the world right now. My goodness. All right, last one. One guest you'd love to have on Lounge Lizards.
You.
You know what I was like? If she says you, I'm like, you too cliche over here. No, I'm kidding. You got like okay, so thank you. I would love to be on your podcast, but what do you have like a celebrity that you've been like trying to or would love to like have on your...
Brittany Broski.
Ooh. Okay.
Do you know her?
No.
Okay. Thank you for the fake ooh and ahs, though.
Hey!
Thank you. You're a good host.
Listeners don't know that.
You're a good host. You're good.
Everybody else you mentioned in the podcast today, no, her. I'm sorry, but what?
No, so Brittany Broski, she has a podcast and she's kind of like content creator, but not much on TikTok. Okay. Like she's more like YouTube content creator. But she's absolutely insane. She has a podcast by herself called the Broski Report, and it's honestly like one of the only podcasts I actually listen to.
Yeah. That's really dope. Yeah, I mean,
because she don't give a fuck. Like, sometimes you like all these other podcasters, like these huge podcasters, it's all formatted and just weird.
Yeah.
And she really just talks about what she wants to talk about. Like she goes on tangents about death, and she'll like on the spot Google like, what does this mean? I just feel like it's super authentic and just quick.
Yeah. I love that. I love podcasts like that. I love podcasts where like the host or the person hosting it is basically just being themselves. It's not so much like, oh, what am I supposed to do in this podcast, or how am I supposed to run this, or how professional and like clean I need to be. And it's just all these things like, just do what you got to do and your audience is going to come. Like it's not even, no one's gonna, at the end of the day, all these podcasts almost sound alike anyways, so like do something freaking different.
Like sometimes she's on an edible and she's like, I want my she'll be like,
convinced me. You convinced me to watch
it.
it.
You have to, because it's just like, even as from podcast to podcast, it's just a nice thing to look at, to be like, oh, I like this and that. Like she'll yell at herself, like, what are we talking about? Like, what am I talking about? Like, it's just really authentic.
I'm gonna watch it. Now you sold me, because I'm always trying to find a new podcast, but it's like so many that I'm just trying to get into, or I need a new one because then you run out of episodes of the ones you like. All right, so that wraps up our game today. You did that. I did that. You did that. Thank you. No, I loved it. This was good. The best part about like these games is you get to know you a little more outside of just like these questions and stuff that I've just arranged to make it work. But where can people find you? Where's like, or do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about? That type of thing.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Ashlynn Salzano. You can find me on the streets asking for a dog. No, I'm just playing.
I was like, what? Ashlynn, where you be at? It's like, girl, if you don't get over here.
You can definitely not find me in the Bronx getting brunch. Right. That's definitely where you won't find me.
By your expression earlier, I was like, you don't step foot. You're told, like, anybody ever say, hey, let's go? Nah, leave Ashlynn behind. Don't even ask. She ain't going.
I only go to the Target in the Bronx that is on 231st, and then my ass is right back. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all I do.
Feel you.
Yeah.
Well, that's dope. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
This has been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of laughs. I've had probably, I shouldn't say this. Probably have more laughs than the others, but no, I'm just kidding. Everybody's been fun.
That's a joke. You're being,
it's just a joke.
Relax. A joke.
Relax. You listen to this. Don't bring your feelings. No,
don't bring your feelings here.
Ashlynn Salzano, everybody. From cracking up crowds to cracking open real convos, she brings so much heart and hilarity to everything she touches. I mean, we laughed and we laughed and we laughed. My gut is, I have abs right now at this point. If you loved this episode, make sure to follow and subscribe to Undefining the Pod on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can follow Ashlynn on IG at Ashlynn Salzano and check out her podcast, Lounge Lizards, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, you can support Undefining the Pod on Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/undefiningthepod, and follow us on Instagram at UndefiningPodcast. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep undefining.